So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I go by the name Damilola, but you can call me Dafresh Olorin. I'm a multifaceted creative, a designer, a musician, and I welcome you once again to Design Chat. So Design Chat is a bi-weekly webinar where we talk about everything and anything design, and this happens in the Design Beyond Art community. Design Beyond Art is a community of designers helping designers grow. We basically teach design from a problem-solving perspective by preaching the idea of design beyond the surface of art. Tonight I want us to try something different, something new, which is I'm going to be tackling 5 questions, 5 deep questions, like serious questions, not the regular question that is being asked every other day. And the number one question I have here is, how has the design industry changed in the past 5 years, and what do you predict will happen in the next 5 to 10 years? Right, so how has the design industry changed in the past 5 years? I think the design industry has really changed a whole lot. A lot of things has changed in the design industry within the space of 5. As a matter of fact, within the space of 3 years, from 2020 till now, a lot has changed. Not to now talk of 5 years ago. A lot of things has changed in the sense that the way we learn design, from the way we learn to the way we execute, to the awareness around this graphic design thing. Now, like today, it is cool to be a graphic designer today than it was few years ago, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, a graphic designer is just like every other guy out there. Like, a lot of people don't really take us serious. But today, everybody can see the importance of a graphic designer. Like, a graphic designer now, some people respect us like the way they respect doctors, the way they respect lawyers. Especially brands, they understand the importance of having a graphic designer on their team, or having a graphic designer, that is helping them to communicate their messages, right? So today there's a lot of awareness and there's a lot of opportunity out there for graphic designers than it used to be 5 years ago. And it used to be 5 years ago. And what do I predict will happen in the next 5 to 10 years? Well, I think it will get better, because it can only get better. Yeah, it can only get better as, like I said, the way we learn, the way we execute, the awareness and the opportunities. It will only get better, right? So learning today is much more easier and much more seamless than it has ever been. The way we execute designs today is much more easier and better than it has ever been. So in the future, in the next 5 to 10 years, it will be much more easier and better than it is right now. Learning will be much more easier and better, faster than it is right now. The awareness will be much more than this, and there will be much more inclusion and recognition for this profession, this graphic design profession. From 2020 till now, the amount of people who have joined the graphic design space, I like to think that there are even more than those who have been there before now. Like, a lot of people have come into this space. Just from 2020 till now, we have a lot of people now, like, paying attention, learning, and they are even already cashing out. Like, they are doing good for themselves already, both male and female. Yeah, another beautiful thing is that we have more female designers, more female designers now in the industry than it used to be before now, right? Like, more female, they are coming out, they are taking it up, and they are doing very well for themselves, right? So, like, the industry is just it's the future of the design industry is bright and beautiful, right? And I feel like as long as we continue to build ourselves, we continue to develop ourselves, we continue to improve on what we do, we will never be left behind. So for me, that is it about that question. And then the second question here says, what is the biggest challenge you have experienced as a designer? Well, the biggest challenge I have experienced as a designer, there has been a couple of challenges, but the biggest, I think the biggest challenge for me as a designer so far has been converting what I have into value, or should I say converting that value into convert what I have into value, and then converting that value into something valuable. Now what I'm trying to say is that first of all, understanding that okay, you are good at this thing, like okay, you are good at this thing, you have this value, right? So when I started out, for those of you who might not know, I live in Lagos, and I live in a part of Lagos where a lot of people believe to be trenches, simply because it's not as developed as many other areas in Lagos, and I'm talking about Ikorodu. Now, because of my geographical location, when most people approach me for a design project, like people in that environment, and I like give them my price, because naturally, you see, there's a way you do things that you yourself, you feel like this thing, like you know that no, I'm not supposed to be charging anything less than this range of amount of money, and like I try to push it like that. I try to carry myself like that. I try to charge what I feel like I'm worth at that point, right? And people will be like, for this Ikorodu, they charge like that, like people, they feel like because you live in the trenches, you should be charging like you should be charging peanuts, right? And for me, yes, I live in the trenches, but my work is out of this world. Like what I create, it's unfounded. So why should I limit myself to say because I stay in a limited environment? I don't have to limit myself, right? But I had a lot of issue. Sometimes I feel like I might not good enough, or I used to feel like this graphic design thing is not profitable at all, right? But I don't blame them. Why? Because the same thing that I want to charge 10, 20, 30,000 naira for, there is someone else in the business center that will be doing the same thing for them, 500 naira. So that is what they are used to. So it became a very huge problem for me then, to the extent that I feel like there is no money in this design thing, because I was having difficulty charging my worth as a graphic designer then, because that was a very huge challenge for me. I felt like graphic design was not profitable. So I went to learn web design with the thoughts that web design is more profitable, that maybe web designers earn more money than graphic designers. So I learned web design because of money. I can't lie. It was because of money I went to learn web design, right? So I learned web design, and yeah, after the whole stress, the whole putting efforts, time, and everything to learn the whole thing, the first person that approached me, because like when I finished learning, I started telling people, now I do web design, and everything. The first person that approached me for a web design project, the person already has a website, and they said they want me to be managing their websites. So I'll be helping them, like taking care of their websites, update the website, check the security, handle their blog posts, basically just managing the whole activity and everything on their website. And they said they want to pay me 5,000 naira, and I was like, damn, it is finished. Because 5,000 naira to do what? Like how much for data, sir? And I feel like the problem is actually not because of the fact that they want to pay me 5,000 naira. The problem was because of the fact that in my mind, I thought that I expected that as I have now learned web design now, people to just start paying me big money like that. However, that's not how it works, right? So that further discouraged me, and I felt very bad. All those period, I felt very bad, and I started asking questions. I started looking for answers. I remember it was more of Google and YouTube back then, right? And lucky enough, I came across people like Chris Do, people like Tola Labi, and a couple other great minds out there. That's when I started, okay, so I can actually learn how to do this, how to price, how to do this, how to position myself. Like, I started taking necessary courses, I started attending necessary classes, attending webinars, like all the things that I was not aware of before then. I started being aware of them. That is when I now started learning how to. That is when I get to understand that, see, it is not enough to have value. Exactly. You need to understand that for your value has to be valuable for people to want to pay premium for it. Like, so your value has to be valuable to the people that are going to pay for it. So if I am in the trenches and I feel like, oh, just because I'm a badass designer, I create masterpiece, so they should start paying me premium. That's my masterpiece is not valuable to them, right? They don't see the value in it, so they do not have any reason to pay me premium for it. So whereas there is someone else that can do almost the same thing, maybe not exactly, maybe not at the level which I'm doing it, but they will shall get something that they shall need for 500 naira or at least 5,000 naira highest, right? And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. The person that is doing it for them 500 naira or 2,000 naira is not their fault. Me that I want to charge 20,000, 30,000 naira is not my fault. We are not just supposed to be in the same space, right? So that is when I started taking myself out of my, I don't know if I should call it comfort zone, because it's not as if I was comfortable in the trenches, right? So people will say take yourself out of your comfort zone. I'm still trying to fully grasp that concept. However, what I did was I started learning how to position myself for people who value my work enough to want to pay me premium for it. It took me time, it took me a lot of work, right? But eventually I got to that stage whereby the same thing that someone won't pay you 5,000 naira for, they will pay me 50,000 naira for it. Me, I have had situations, and I think I have I have given those examples some time ago, that that the same client, a client that refused to pay someone else 5,000 naira for a project, they came to me. They were complaining. They were complaining that, yeah, this person, the designer wanted to charge them 5,000 naira, and that money was too much, and this is what they want to do and all of that, right? But when I communicate to them in my own way, and then they realize what I want to do for them, and they find it to be more valuable than what the other person wants to do for them, they agreed to pay me 10 times than the other person. So the work that I have to do is, first of all, understanding that I have value. Secondly, knowing how to communicate that value effectively enough for people to see that, yes, this person knows what he is doing. And thirdly, being able to position myself for the people who actually need that value. So even if you are communicating your value to people who don't need your value, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of effort and energy, right? You will begin to resent both yourself and people you are communicating it to. So it's about knowing how to position yourself for the people, because there are people who are looking for you. They are starving. They need what you have, but you need to know how to position yourself for them to be able to find you. Not about you chasing them. Yeah, and I think that does it for that question. That has been my biggest challenge as a designer, that I have to tackle as a designer. That was like the biggest challenge for me ever. I don't think there's ever been anything else. Like there is other challenges, many other challenges, but this one is like the most significant challenge, because the moment I was able to crack that, right, everything else was started falling in place, and I could face other challenges and I could tackle them much easily. Yeah, basically that is it about that. So the next question says, what is the one common misconception people have in the design industry? Okay, so now there is a couple. There is like a lot of misconceptions though. However, you asked for one. So the one thing that I would say, one common misconception that I would say that we have in the design industry is this issue of smartphone designers and PC designers, and that discussion. For me, I actually feel like the conversation is usually geared towards the same direction and the same concept. However, the problem is that most people, they are always trying to polarize the conversation, in the sense that as a smartphone designer, I don't know, but sometimes I think it is somehow delusional for someone who is creating design with their smartphone to think that is the end of it. It is very ridiculous. It is very ridiculous in the sense that you cannot say that you cannot say that you do not understand that you will always be limited when you are creating designs with smartphone, right? There are always limitations, in as much as yes, you can create amazing designs with your smartphone, accepted, but the limitations will always be there. So you need to be realistic enough to be able to recognize the fact that yes, you will always be limited. And then moving to the other side of the divide, talking about the PC designers who are also always attacking the smartphone designers. I feel like I don't understand why people like to just blind themselves away from reality. Like, just because you have the luxury of the privilege to have access something does not mean that everybody else have that same luxury like you do, right? So nobody is saying that it is not necessary to have to use laptop to create designs. What we are saying is that for now, if what you have is if all you have for now is your smartphone, don't let that stop you from starting. That is what we are saying. We are not saying that people should stick to their smartphone for the rest of their life. Like, who wants to live the rest of their life being a mediocre? Mediocrity does not take you to, does not help you does not allow you attain greatness in life if you are moving by mediocrity, right? You need to want to move with excellence. You need to always be running after excellence all the time, not mediocrity, right? I mean, thinking about it, there are a lot of people who are using laptop whose their design is trash, right? And for me, like, there has been a lot of time where people have come to me and be like, "Oh, Dafresh, I really want to learn this design thing, but the problem is that I don't have a laptop here, so I'm waiting for when I will get my laptop before I start." And I'll be like, bro or babe, you don't have to wait. You have a smartphone. Just start with that. See, I used to say this, that what will happen at the end of the day is that you will use your smartphone to learn design. So now the thing is this: design does not start or end with whatever tool or gadgets you are using for that design. Design does not start or end with it. Design first of all starts with what you know. Design first of all starts with how much you understand design theory itself. So even if you don't have access to laptop now, but you have a smartphone, and then you understand the basic principles of design, and then you are using your phone to practice, to apply those principles, to practice, to fully understand those principles, and eventually you start create good, beautiful designs, and what's it called? You start making money. You start cashing out from that. Why? What will then stop you from investing that money into getting a laptop and then advancing yourself, becoming more advanced, and go in pursuit of that excellence, right? I think the problem with people in our industry is that they're always trying to claim superiority. So they want to feel superior. They want to always make people feel like they are superior than us. So if you are not using a laptop, forget, we no be mates. The same thing some people will do, say, if you are not using Apple, if you are not using Mac, forget, we no be mates. What's it called? iPhone versus Android. All these things is, to me, I feel like people are just they're just playing around, because until we calm down and be realistic with ourselves, we realize that all of those things does not really matter, right? To me, what matters is using what you have to get to where you want to be in life. Because I do not think that any serious designer that want to take their design career serious will pray that for the rest of their career what they will be using is smartphone to design. It's not possible. Like, if you want to do it like maybe a part-time thing, you just want to make some change, like you're not really serious about this design thing, yeah, by all means, use your smartphone and get out, right? We don't, like, it's not that deep. But for someone who wants to really pursue a career and they are serious about excellence, they know that at some point they will need to upgrade. Like, life is a journey, life is a process, and everything is stage by stage in life. So I do not think that anybody, first of all, as a designer that's using smartphone, never think that never feel like that is where it ends. No matter how good you think you are with it, you will still have limitations, right? And for the PC designers also, let everybody understand that there's always a reason for something. Everybody have their own truth. So if you come here and say that people who are using smartphone to design, that they are not serious, that is your truth. It's not anybody's truth. That's just your opinion. And to me, I feel like it's not even an opinion. It is a fact that what's it called? It's not even true to think that people who are using smartphone, they are not serious. It is untrue, right? It is untrue, because once again, it does not start or end with the gadgets or the tools you use. Design does not start or end with the gadgets or the tools you use. So basically, I think it's a misconception that people have to think that this whole thing, to be having that conversation in the first place, is not supposed to be a thing that we'll be discussing, but it still happens. Just a few days ago, I still see someone posting a very long article about it on Facebook. I'm like, what's it called? Like, even what's it called? It's not just graphic design, like the tech space in general. Like, we have people creating websites with their smartphone. We have people, what's it called, running Facebook ads, doing a lot of things just using their smartphone, doing animations. video editing just with their smartphones, right? But yet that does not mean that is the end of it, right? They will always have limitations. Like even the same thing that you are doing with your smartphone, if you are going to do the same thing with your laptop, you will realize that it is even easier to do on your computer than it is on your smartphone. So who prays to always be inconvenienced all the time? Like, you want to do what you will do and then move to the next stage of your career. So to me, I think it is a misconception to think that what's it called, that smartphone designers are not serious. And I also think that it is a misconception for smartphone designers to also think that, for some smartphone designers to also think that, yeah, that is the end of it. Like, yes, now they are the odogu, and now we are now having we are now having fashions, we are having smartphone warriors. Like, what's that, guys? Stop it. Stop it. Let's move on. So the next question here is, what is the question you are most tired of hearing on this subject, and what would you like to say about it so you never have to answer it again? Now, this is another deep question, but now I think one question that I think that designers ask a lot, right? There are a couple of questions, but one major question that designers ask a lot is how to attract high-paying clients. And now this is going to be quite controversial, yeah, because I think I'm kind of sick of it too. What's it called? When we brought Olalabi to the community during his AMA session, I remember someone asked this question as well, and it was like, this question, like he has answered this question countless times, and to him it felt like that one question that we asked that day, made that session to not be different from any other session again. However, I kind of share that perspective, that question is like, designers ask that question too much. So I feel like instead of designers asking, how do I attract higher paying clients or high paying clients, I feel like we should focus more on how do I develop myself to a level whereby the people, like the value which I offer, the problem I solve, the people who actually really need it, they will come for it. How do I develop myself to that level, and how do I position myself for them to be able to find me, right? For them to be able to find me. So just like the story I shared earlier, that like where I am, I was always trying to look for people who are going to pay me more money, who are going to pay me higher money, who are going to pay me premium, right? And that made me to start like running skelter. I went to go and learn web design because of money too, and eventually the money did not come. But at the end of the day, learning what I learned from the people I learned it from, I learned to develop myself to a certain level, and then I learned how to now position myself for the people who want what I have to offer. Like, I do not have to be the one running after them, because already they are starving for it. They need it. So all I have to do is put myself where they can find me, and that was it. That's how the story changed for me, right? And I think that is the way it is. So rather than trying to look for tips on how to attract high-paying clients and all of those things, like a lot of times designers will make this complaint to me. Yeah, okay, send me some of your works. They will send the works, send your portfolio. You will see that the portfolio does not match what this guy wants to be charging. Like, bro, calm down. You understand? Calm down and build yourself up to that stage. Build yourself up to that level, right? So you yourself need to be true and be realistic and ask yourself, okay, I want to charge premium. Am I creating premium? Like, if you want to charge premium, are you creating premium? First of all, are you creating premium? You need to first of all ask yourself that. If you cannot answer that question, just keep working, keep building yourself to a level whereby you'll be able to create premium, right? And I think that is the most important thing that designers need to focus on, rather than how to attract high-paying clients, because high-paying clients, they are not ghosts. They are not ghosts. Like, they're not really scarce like that. And I think it is we that we are the one that give it name, that give it high-paying clients, high-ticket clients. Like, we just give it label. They are like every other people out there. The only thing is that they have problem and they find people who can solve that problem for them, and they pay them what they are worth. They pay them the amount of money that they feel that is required to solve that particular problem. Simple. So what you as a designer needs to do, if you want to be in that space also, is to build yourself to the level whereby you can solve those kind of problems, right? And then you get paid for it, right? So I think that should help with that question. A follow-up question to that was that, what would I do? What would I like to say about it? So I never had to answer it again. Well, I do not think I will never have to answer this question again. Why? Because even if you eventually get to that point whereby you now have that value, like you create that premium that you know, right? I know that it is still challenging. You still need to learn how to now position yourself, right? Because that was my own case too. I know that what I am creating deserve premium, but my problem was how to position myself for people who are going to pay premium, right? But already I know that what I was creating deserves premium, right? So for someone who knows that this thing is, what's it called, that they are already creating premium, right? So I would like to answer that question for them as to how they can position themselves to for the right people. And yeah, basically, so I would not say that I would never have to answer that question. I would still answer it. It's just that I'm so tired of answering it. That's just it. But I will still answer it anyways. Okay, so this is the last question that says, what is one piece of practical advice you would give to someone starting out? So one piece of practical advice I would give to designers who are just starting out is, first of all, take your time, learn. Take your time to study, like study hard, study a lot, and please buy courses, use your money, invest in yourself financially, invest time, effort, and money into building yourself, into developing yourself, right? And secondly, I would say start with what you have and where you are. Like, don't let anything hold you back from starting. Just like I said the other time, that, what's it called, if all you have is your smartphone, don't let anything stop you. Start learning, start using your smartphone, start practicing, right? You might never reach perfection, right? But you will always get better. You will always get better. It's practice brings improvement. You will always get better, and that is all that matters. I myself, now that I am like doing this with you guys, I'm not perfect, right? I do not think of myself as a better designer than anybody else, but I know that I am better than who I was few months back, and that is all that matters. Like what I'm doing with you guys right now, teaching, helping you gain clarity and all of those things. I do not think that I am the best at this thing that I'm doing, but guess what? I am way better at it than I was few months ago. And if I did not start when I started, I will not get to this place. Because for you to become a professional, you need to first become an amateur. Right? So for you to become a 20 years old, you need to first of all become a 10-year-old. And yeah, basically I want everybody who's just starting out to have that mindset that like they have to be humble, and they have to be dedicated. Like just be dedicated, be be intentional. Know what you are doing exactly, be intentional, know that okay, this is what I want, and go for it. And don't let anybody discourage you, right? And don't settle for mediocrity. Always strive for excellence. So if you have access to a laptop when you are starting, good for you. Quickly take advantage of that and improve yourself. Skyrocket your abilities quickly, because it means that you have edge, you have advantage over people who don't have laptop. And don't feel too big for it. Just be humble and be grateful to God. Be thankful that you have access to that thing and use it effectively. And for those who don't have access to laptop yet, if you have access to smartphone, you have something, you have gold. During our days when I learned graphic design, we did not have all of these things. Like, learning graphic design was never this easy. Like, I never get the opportunity to attend webinars like this when I started graphic design. I never get the opportunity to say I want to go and read something online or something. It was years. That is why I had to take time before I started coming online to later now finding Chris Do and all of those things, right? And that point, what's it called? I remember the days where what's it called? I did not have laptop when I was learning graphic design too, and then there was no any smartphone design software. So I will be borrowing laptop up and down whenever I want to do stuff. Even though I learned graphic design at a business center. So because we were like five learning stuff in that same business center. If you guys know how business center works, we were like five learning in that place, and they have two computers. So one computer is for our boss. That is only the boss that can use that computer. So it's only one computer that everybody have that we can use to practice. So what we'll now be doing is that we'll be timing ourselves every 20 minutes. So you sit down, you practice 20 minutes. Another person will go there 20 minutes. Like, it's crazy. Like, how can you even learn effectively? So when I get home, I did not have access. I did not have my own computer or anything. So I start borrowing laptop to practice. And when I started taking projects too, I will start like when I borrow laptop from my friends, like when I create the project and I send it to the clients, like I don't come out for day, or my friend has already left my place, and the clients now say that they want me to make changes. Where do I see laptop to make changes now? Like, I start running up and down. Like I'm just telling you guys this story to know how hard it was to get things done, how hard it was to learn. So today everything is easier. I myself am grateful to be in this space at this time. Why? Because if I was complaining as at then, what would people like Tolala be? I can only but imagine what they would face during their own days as at 2005, 2006, 2007. Men, so I begin to feel like, okay, it's actually a beautiful time to be alive. It's a very good time to be alive. So what we have to do is know that we are privileged. We are privileged. To be very honest, we are privileged, and be grateful for what we have, and now start finding ways to take advantage of these opportunities available to us as to how to learn, how to execute, and everything in general, right? So every designer starting out, I think those are some of the things that they need to pay attention to. They need to pay attention to, and they need to know that it does not start or end with the tools or whatever, or the software that you have access to. No, it starts first of all with what you know. How much do you understand design, and what's it called? How well can you use design to solve problems, right? Because that is what will keep you relevant in the future of graphic design. What's the value, your value as a designer in the future is not what you create, right? Your value as a designer in the future is not in what you create, but in the problem that you solve with what you create. And yeah, that is it about that. So that is our 5 questions.